Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NDN TV Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button and be the first to get notifications. And now, let's join ace broadcaster MAMODE AKUGHA as he takes us inside the Niger Delta.
Hello out there and welcome to the program. It's Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. I'm your regular host, MAMODE AKUGHA. Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, Dr. Samuel Ogbuku, says the Commission is willing and ready to partner with Rivers State Government and the Melford Obiene Okilo Foundation, currently in the offing, to establish a library in honor of the first democratically elected governor of Rivers State, late Chief Melford Obiene Okilo. According to Dr. Ogbuku, this was in recognition of his contributions to the development of the region, as well as in acknowledgement of Chief Okilo's remarkable lifestyle, which he noted makes him a leader worthy of emulation.
Rivers State was one of the 12 states created by the military administration of General Yakubu Gowon on May 27, 1967. The state, which was made up of the current-day Bayelsa state, remained under military rule until the country transitioned to a democratic regime in 1979. Melford Obiene Okilo then became the first democratically elected governor of Rivers State. Before his tenure as governor, Okilo had already established himself as a capable leader, having served as the Federal Commissioner for Education and later for Agriculture, Fisheries and Natural Resources during the First Republic. He brought his leadership skills and resourcefulness to the administration of Rivers State. Chief Okilo founded the Rivers State University of Science and Technology and established the independent power plant at Imiringi in what is now Bayelsa State. He also prioritized the development of rural communities. Though he was re-elected to serve a second term in 1983, the military takeover in December of that year would not allow him to serve out the mandate of the people. Regardless of this, Chief Okilo continued to play a significant role in Nigeria's political landscape. He was elected to represent the people of Bayelsa East in the Nigerian Senate at the dawn of the Fourth Republic in 1999. He passed away on the 5th of July 2008 at the age of 74. 16 years later, his legacy still resonates in the present-day Rivers and Bayelsa states. Last weekend, the Rivers State government, in collaboration with the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, organized the 16th memorial and fundraising ceremony for the setting up of a foundation in honor of Melford Obiene Okilo. Governor Sir Siminalaye Fubara, who was represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Tami Danagogo, at the event, urged attendees to emulate Okilo's exemplary leadership qualities.
Therefore, urge all of us to reflect on the life and contributions of this statesman. We can do this by always paying homage to the incredible successes and legacies of this late servant, and make sure we follow the right course of action.
In his goodwill message, NDDC Managing Director Dr. Samuel Ogbuku harped on the need to immortalize Chief Okilo, whom he described as a leader par excellence.
We can all come together and raise funds to possibly build a library where the literature of Mr. Melford Okilo and other literatures that others are going to be writing will also be in that place. So that when people come to Port Harcourt, they will look and say, Chief Melford Okilo Library.
The event also featured tributes from prominent figures such as former Governor Rufus Ada George and PANDEF National Chairman Senator Emmanuel Ibok Essien.
Oh, Kilo he was my mentor. He was fantastic, humble. He was patriotic, kind, generous.
I served in the same Senate with Chief Senator Melford Okilo, and we worked very closely on many issues affecting the Niger Delta region.
Indeed, Okilo was a bridge builder, a nationalist and staunch advocate for minority rights. He was a strong voice in the advocacy for resource control while calling for an end to what he described as the deprivation of the oil-rich Niger Delta region. As the people of the Niger Delta celebrate this remarkable leader 16 years after his passing, we bring you some of his thoughts from about 20 years ago when he spoke to MAMODE AKUGHA in an exclusive interview.
For the development of the area, we must have reforms. So on behalf of the South-South, I went to the National Assembly shortly after the elections, 1980, and presented the case of the South-South. The first case I took up was the restoration of the principle of derivation, because it was fundamental in the 19 Constitution, which the three regions met. I pointed out how serious it was, that removing derivation in the Nigerian Constitution means that you have removed the foundation on which the Nigerian Federation was founded, that Nigeria was going to disintegrate. And they should not call me, I shall not be the cause, they will be the cause, because they have fundamentally wronged what the founding fathers insisted that it was a must in the constitution of this country. To me, I see politics as man begging God to give him or her his power, God's power. And so we've come to realize, to define politics as the activity of the soul, that is spirit of God in man, illustrated in power. A politician should know that the power is exerting. No professor can do it. No bishop can do it. That is God's power. And when he's using that power, we should be very, very careful not to hurt even a fly.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Following a tragic boat mishap that claimed several lives in southern Niger local government area of Bayelsa State last week, Governor Doyediri says his administration will continue to work with regulators in the water transport sector as well as other security agencies to prevent such an ugly occurrence in the future. Senator Diri, who spoke through his deputy, Senator Lawrence Erujakbo, at the weekly State Executive Council meeting in Yenagoa, also added that boat safety protocols will be beefed up across the state.
Boat mishaps have become a recurring nightmare in coastal communities in the Niger Delta, leaving in its trail grief and huge losses. Many travelers often meet their tragic end, while others, who are sometimes fortunate, will have to bid farewell to their valuable belongings. Tragedy struck again last week in Ezetu, one community of southern Ijaw local government area in Bayelsa State, where a wooden boat carrying goods and passengers went up in flames before it sank, claiming 20 lives. Authorities attributed the high number of casualties to the failure of boat operators to keep to safety protocols. Lamenting over the sad incident, Governor Doyediri, through his deputy, Senator Lawrence Erujakbo, noted that it is regrettable that the state continued to experience this kind of huge losses because of the unruly behaviors of some boat operators.
It's quite an unfortunate incident, and our minds and grief are in tandem and are beating with the families that love loved ones and the families that love property. The governor has directed that the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, the Maritime Workers Union, and the Nigerian Police must rise up to the occasion.
Senator Lawrence Erujakpo, while emphasizing the urgent need for the strict enforcement of safety protocols in the sector, called on all stakeholders, including the Maritime Workers Union and security agencies, to work together in ensuring that the waterways in the area are safe.
All boats must have life buoys so that in case of these emergencies, people can cling onto the life buoys to save life. And furthermore, the ban on night travel is hereby reinforced.
Meanwhile, as part of his attempts to protect the Bayelsa environment, Governor Diri last week met with the Secretary General of Commonwealth, Baroness Scotland, in London. During the meeting, the governor sought the intervention of the Commonwealth to ensure the successful implementation of the Bayelsa State Oil and Environmental Commission report, which was launched in 2023 at the House of Lords in London. The report, titled An Environmental Genocide, Counting the Human and Environmental Cost of Oil in Bayelsa, Nigeria, detailed solutions to the devastating effects of oil pollution in Bayelsa and indeed the Niger Delta region. The governor also regretted that Shell Petroleum Development Company is exiting onshore operations without any concrete plan to remediate and compensate host communities. Commonwealth Secretary General Baroness Scotland expressed her gratitude to Governor Diri and assured that a dedicated team would look into the situation to guide all parties involved in addressing the pressing environmental issues faced by the state.
Inside the Niger Delta.
In fulfillment of his desire to fast-track the delivery of the MOA agenda to all parts of Delta State, the Governor, Sheriff Oborewori-led Executive Council last week approved the construction and rehabilitation of several roads and other critical projects in the state. Delta State Commissioner for Information, Dr. Ifeanyi Osuoza, who made this known after the Executive Council meeting at Government House, Asaba, noted that the administration is ensuring that no part of the state is left unattended to in its ongoing project execution.
A key element in Governor Sheriff Oborewori's social contract with the people of Delta State is his commitment to delivering meaningful development across the oil-rich state. This commitment includes construction and rehabilitation of vital infrastructure such as roads and bridges to enhance connectivity between remote communities and urban centers. Although hundreds of these projects are currently ongoing around the state, Governor Oborewori recently stated that many are still in the pipeline.
We have a lot of challenges in our route because of the terrain. This terrain is very, very bad. Very soon, we're also going to do overlay of the MAMODE road. Very soon, because it's a long stretch of road from Oro Junction to MAMODE Bridge.
Just as the governor promised, the State Commissioner for Information, Dr. Ifeanyi Osuoza, after the Executive Council meeting of last week, disclosed that several road projects have been approved for construction and rehabilitation. Some of the approved roads are Olomoro-Igbide Road, which connects two oil-producing communities and had been in a state of disrepair for years.
So we approved the Ohoro-Bomadi Road in Bomadi local government. We equally approved the rehabilitation and asphalt overlay of the failed sections of the NNPC Housing Complex Road. That is from Refinery Road to Ejeba Junction in Ekpa, Ugwe local government.
Among these is the second phase of the Emevo Orogun Road in Isoko North local government area. This is the road immediate past Governor Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa promised the people in 2021 but left office in 2023 without any substantial improvement on the road. However, Governor Oborewori, in fulfillment of his pledge to complete all inherited projects, intervened and the first phase was commissioned in June this year. With the approval for the second phase, the new sheriff in town is already keeping to the word he gave the people.
I want to make a promise directing the commissioner to start the second phase of this road.
A total of over 320 projects are at various levels of execution in Delta State, and about 75 of these are road projects with an estimated total length of 85 kilometers. It is, however, impressive to note that Governor Oborewori is running the state without borrowing and with a budget that is significantly smaller than what it was in previous years, despite the inflationary forces in play today.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Standout Properties Limited presents a real estate opportunity of a lifetime. Bloom Towers, a waterfront twin high-rise buildings of 19 and 21 stories at the edge of the Atlantic Ocean in the prestigious Oniru area, Victoria Island, Lagos. Bloom Towers is a green and smart building project consisting of 1, 2 and 3 bedroom apartments and maisonettes, as well as 10,300 square meters available space for commercial and corporate use. Built for completion in 2027, Bloom Towers has 236 units available for sale with a starting price of 100 million naira. Lock down a unit today with a down payment of 20% and spread the balance over the next 24 months. Contact us on 080-693-47063 or 091-22-656-975.
It is a project that will bring huge return on investment.
Bloom Towers, from foundation to skyline.
AKUGHA Group, oil and gas, dredging, power and air transportation. AKUGHA Group, petroleum product sufficiency, energy sustainability and infrastructure development.
Young people in the oil-rich Niger Delta region under the aegis of the Niger Delta Ethnic Nationalities Youth Leaders Forum are confident that the legalization and the regularization of artisanal crude oil refining in the creeks of the Niger Delta region is the key that will bring an end to the knotty issue of petroleum product importation. President of Isoko National Youth Assembly, Comrade Eniwake Orogun, made this known while presenting the resolutions of the forum last week after discussing issues affecting the oil and gas sector in the country. The forum also called for the accelerated completion of the all-important East-West Road to ease the burden of commuters across the region.
On August 1st, the Niger Delta Ethnic Nationality Youth Leaders Forum addressed a press conference and distanced itself from the nationwide protest that lasted for 10 days. The reason was that they doubted the organizers' intentions and the fact that the grievances and challenges of the Niger Delta people were not clearly spelled out amongst reasons for the End Bad Governance demonstration. Last weekend, these young leaders converged again in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, to further discuss some of the issues which they consider unique to the oil-rich Niger Delta region. Among these issues are the oil and gas host community relationship with oil companies and the involvement of its people in the ongoing divestment trends by multinational oil companies, as well as the need to urgently revive the nation's moribund refineries. The ongoing Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited NNPCL recruitment exercise was another issue of concern also raised by the youth leaders.
We want to see physical people from the Niger Delta, especially from the creeks, from the villages, whose farmlands have been taken, an ecosystem destroyed, rivers polluted.
And that recruitment, there's nothing stopping us from having 70-30, just as I rightly say. It's a JV. Now me get the property, now you be investor. I need to gain more.
We are calling on the leadership of the NNPC to make sure that the refinery, the Port Harcourt refinery, starts pumping so that to alleviate the suffering of the Nigerian people.
For a region battling with infrastructure deficit, it would have been totally impossible to leave out this area, especially the East-West Road that has become a death trap in recent times.
The project has been too slow And this has endangered the life of the Niger Delta people. So the East-West Road is key to those of us who are from the Niger Delta. We want to appeal with the President and the Minister of Work to urgently look at the projects and give a marching order to whoever that is a contractor that is handling that job, so that that job can speedily.
As Nigeria battles with the knotty issue of petroleum product importation, the forum, in its resolution read by the President of Isoko National Youth Assembly, Eniwake Orogun, convener of the meeting, called for the urgent establishment of modular refineries and integration of artisanal crude oil refiners across the region.
If these guys are empowered, aside the employment, the engagement, it gives the room for us to develop homegrown solutions for our crude oil refining process. As alluded to by the then Vice President, Professor Yemi Osibajo, SAN.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Family, friends, and well-wishers of late Mrs. Justina AKUGHA Omoyibo, who is the wife of business mogul Chief Daniel Omoyibo, popularly known as Damotek, have described her as a true mother with a heart of gold whose life was predicated on service to humanity. Prominent Isoko sons and daughters who joined the family to celebrate her legacy 6 years after her demise noted that her selfless lifestyle is worthy of commendation and emulation. Mrs. Omoyibo, who was the chairperson of the Damotek Foundation for the Less Privileged, used the outfit to reach out to countless people within and outside her community of Ole in Isoko South local government area of Delta State. Chief Daniel Omoyibo, popularly known as Damotek, is a well-known philanthropist in Delta State. He hails from Ole in Isoko South local government area of Delta State. An oil and gas magnate, Damotek, the Omorara of Isoko Nation, has several business interests across the country. A well-known philanthropist, his foundation, Damotek Foundation, has empowered thousands of people across the country. Regularly, he gives out cash and vehicles to people as empowerment and startup capital. He is also known to come to the aid of communities whenever they face difficulties. During the flooding of 2022, Chief Omoyibo assisted several communities to cope with the difficulties brought on by their displacement as a result of the flooding. For this, he has received several awards across the country. The Isoko-born billionaire has not always been wealthy. Raised from a modest background, he struggled through life until he met and married the love of his life, Justina AKUGHA, in the year 1998. His lovely wife, Justina, brought into his life stability, progress, and indeed wealth. Unfortunately, the cold hands of death snatched her away in 2018, leaving Chief Omoyibo with their 3 children. 6 years after the demise of Mrs. Justina Omoyibo, her memories and legacies remain fresh in the hearts of those who knew her. Last week, Chief Omoyibo, together with friends and family, celebrated the life and times of Justina AKUGHA in a memorial service which took place in his country home in Ole. As a wife and mother, she remained a pillar of support while nurturing a family with love, patience, and uncommon wisdom. As the chairperson of the Damotek Foundation, she interacted with women and youth groups to ensure people have opportunities for development and growth, not just in Delta State, but the entire Niger Delta region. Her family has continued to sustain this gesture in honor of her beautiful life. Chief Omoyibo described his late wife as a virtuous woman who remained by his side through thick and thin, unwavering in her support and commitment to the success of the family and their businesses, which include Damotek Nigeria Limited, as well as Dantinajo Gold Resorts, which was commissioned by former President Olusegun Obasanjo in 2019.
Justina, manage my wealth. Justina, manage my children. Justina, manage everything about me. Let me tell you, Damotek today is Justina.
Special guest at the event, High Chief narrator, the Iyashere of Oyede Kingdom and Ogbuigo of Ole Kingdom, described her as a humble and gracious woman whose life and legacy will continue to serve as an inspiration for many young women.
I usually appreciate women that marry poor men or poor boys, and they are able to guide their husband to success. The life of Justina Afo-Ibo should be a reference point for those of you women who are here and those of you who are yet unmarried.
In the same vein, dignitaries like Chief Idua Maide, Professor Stephen Akpavie, Chief John Araka, and leaders from Grace Mission all spoke fondly of Mrs. Justina Amoyibo, honoring her memory with glowing tributes.
She was a pillar of support for the husband who she started life with when he was Mr. Nobody.
Justina took care of everything in his life. I want to say is, if God wants to do something for you, you will not know. He will just do it, and the time it will come to pass, that is why you remember, this is why God did this.
Speaking on behalf of her siblings, Joan Omoibo, daughter of Justina Omoibo, described her mother as the perfect role model whose vacuum would be difficult to fill.
Her life was something worth emulating. She had like these very good features and attitudes I don't even see in people these days. She was that good. She was selfless. She thought of others before herself.
Late Mrs. Justina Amoyibo was born on March 31st, 1972 and passed on August 14th, 2018 after a brief illness at the age of 46.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Well, that's the size of our package on the program for today. Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region, will be back same time, same station next week. Until then, you can follow us on our social media handles shown right now on your screens. And please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NDNTV Nigeria. Until next week, I am MAMODE AKUGHA thanking you for staying tuned. Bye for now.